What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wrestling Junkies podcast. I'm Eric, Mr. Cincinnati Robinson. As always, I am joined by the podcast dad himself, Chris Hoops. Hoops, how you doing, buddy?
I'm okay. I think both of us are losing pretty hard against allergies today. So I think you know I won't say the other word, but I know
Yeah,
allergies is beating us today. But hey,
yeah,
we're gonna power through and we're gonna get through it.
yeah. No, you sound great. You sound great. So don't
Well, I
worry
always
about it.
sound great. Let's not get crazy. But
Well, I mean,
I did
but
this. I remember I did this podcast without a voice one time, and I still
you did
sounded
do this
fantastic.
podcast without a voice once. Yeah, that's that was your Carrie Strug moment.
That
I
was my flu
appreciate
game.
that. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining us. As always, hit that QR code in the top left corner. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're also following Main Event Wrestling Network on all social media platforms. We've got some exciting WrestleMania week content coming up that we can't wait to share with you guys.
Big stuff. Big
It's good to
stuff.
get everybody on the team involved, and everybody's really starting to like it. So I think that everyone's gonna like what we have planned for that week.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's WrestleMania week. We got go big or go home. This year is probably going to be the biggest WrestleMania of all time. Got a couple more match announcements that we're going to discuss today. But yeah, it's no yeet, and just want to throw that out there. But real quick, man, we got a holiday over the weekend. How was your St. Patrick's Day?
I had a great St. Patty's Day. Ended up at the E. What else is new? Walked around to
Yeah,
RP
yeah,
Murphy's.
yeah.
Uh, Made friends with a wrestler that was bouncing at RP's. It was just one of those random occurrences. But hey, that's what happens when you bring big gold out. You know, you gotta show things off. You gotta have a little gold with the green. You know,
I'm sorry.
you gotta show off. You gotta have the little gold with the green.
No. What did you call your
Big gold.
championship?
Big
How
gold.
dare you? How
Yeah,
dare you?
yeah.
Just
It's
don't.
so
Just stop. Just stop. You're doing it to antagonize me now,
it's
and
easy.
I hate it.
Okay. Well,
It's not big
anyway,
gold. It's not. It never will be. It never has been. Shut your mouth.
Big Gold was a big hit this weekend, though. So
Well, I'm sure it was.
I had a great St. Patty's Day. What did you do, bud?
I think if you go onto our Twitter feed at Junkies Pod, I think you'll find out what I did this week. It was I got to babysit the kids. I say babysit. I
Yes.
got to watch the kids
Yes.
for the night and let my amazing, beautiful, lovely wife go out and let her have a night on the town. She did let me go to a concert on Wednesday, so I let
Sweet.
her. We said, hey, you go out and have some fun, and boy, did she.
Yeah.
Glad she didn't meet up with you though.
She was supposed to tell me where she was going at OTR, and I was gonna go, but
Well, I think she forgot. Let's be honest.
that's fair.
By the time she
That's
got
fair.
home, I don't think she remembered even texting you. So it was a good night.
Man.
All had a good night. Yes,
Yeah, that's great. Want to talk some wrestling?
well, as I always do, because I watched Smackdown. I watched Collision. I didn't watch Rampage. Sorry.
I mean, it was on right after SmackDown. So.
Well, that's a whole totally different channel. It's way past my bedtime. Let's be honest.
And you didn't watch NXT Level Up, did you?
I don't know what that is.
Okay. Anyway, let's talk SmackDown. The Rock kicking off SmackDown in Memphis. We kind of had an idea that a Rock concert was going to be coming. We had the return of the Hollywood Rock theme music.
Yes, that's the biggest thing to come out of it.
Yeah, he was in his bag here. I forget who the musicians were that joined him for this, but had a guitar player and a harmonica player, and I mean they were both awesome.
Yeah.
This was a typical heel rock, especially 2003. Like this was just that element. It's such a throwback, and I love it.
Yeah, I don't like the Rock concert thing's kind of a baby face to me, but it is what it is. The promo afterwards was very good. He broke out the weight belt. It was
Yeah.
awesome. He did mention blood a couple times,
Yes, he did.
which we'll see what happens. We've seen a little bit more edge with The Rock and his promos, and I think there is a report out there that there's some heat over some of these promos. That talent feels like they're not getting that same opportunity, but, guess what? The Rock's on the board and you're not, so he can make those decisions.
Yeah, I mean
It's just kind of how it is.
yeah. I mean it's definitely a double standard for sure. I mean, and that's just kind of the reality of the situation. I mean, like you said, he's on the board of directors. Like no one is going to tell him that he can't do anything. And you could also make the argument that it has improved what what he has done, because when you think about the return on day one, very paint by numbers rock promo that we same stuff we've been seeing in the last few years, but now that he is working for this Mania program, this is that he's finally giving us what it is that we've been wanting, and it's just something that's different. And even though that different is that throwback to 2003, it's working. I definitely stinks that as far as from a production standpoint, anytime The Rock is on a show, we're seeing matches starting at commercial breaks. We're not getting full entrances, things like that. Like it is impacting production. But I mean, it's for a larger end game, biggest WrestleMania of all times on the horizon.
Yeah, it's Mania season, like you said, the biggest WrestleMania of all time, and maybe this does go into a change of kind of how talent can cut promos moving forward.
Yeah.
They can easily bleep stuff out on live TV, so maybe that's kind of what they do. Like for the live audience, we'll see. Yeah, like again, like the concert was okay. Like that's more of a face thing. Like when he originally did it, he did trash the city so much. He didn't
Yeah.
trash Memphis at all, besides the John Morant thing. But
Yeah.
other than that, it was more of a face thing. Um, yeah, I think this is that not necessary evil, but this is kind of what it is when you have The Rock come back and participate in WrestleMania. Stuff's gonna get cut, and
Yeah.
do you want the WrestleMania payday and all that money that comes with it, or do you want 2 minutes longer on a SmackDown?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Also, shout out to King Chris, who is back watching us today. We acknowledge you.
Welcome.
Yeah. But yeah, no, and I think a lot of, as far as the not trashing Memphis. I mean, he did. He and his family did live in Memphis for some time, so I could see him not wanting to. I could see him not wanting to do that. That's all I'm saying.
Are you a heel or not?
No, no, it's fair.
That's all I'm gonna say.
He is a heel, and at least that's what we're being told.
Yep, that's my only argument was
Yeah.
he did save face there for a little while. Yeah, I mean that was the bulk of SmackDown, like you said. We got a couple match announcements though. We got Jimmy versus Jay, pretty much confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
That promo by Jimmy was fantastic.
Yep.
I can't remember if that was on SmackDown or just Instagram, but it was so good.
Yeah,
was that on SmackDown?
Yeah, they ended up playing it.
Okay,
yeah,
that backstage segment.
Yeah,
dude, if that's the stuff I'm gonna get going into it, I cannot wait for this match.
Yeah, and they both kind of need this one-on-one match. This has to be something. This has to be huge for them, quite frankly. I mean, I know that you're still on the fence about the main event nickname because you don't feel that he's really earned it yet. Jimmy, has always
earned it. He just hasn't been booked. He just hasn't been booked like it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't think Jay is bad. I love Jey Uso. He is so over with the crowd. He's good in the ring, but you cannot tell me the way he's been booked. He is a main event star. So that's my only hang up with him.
Sure. Yeah, and Jimmy, I mean, again, this is also what we needed to see from him as a proper singles, run, some actual one-on-one matches. It took them a while for him as well because he's still part of the bloodline to really get that momentum behind him. But I mean, this is a damn good start, and I know we already talked about it last week, but I mean, this match, it'll either be Brett and Owen or it'll be Matt and Jeff from 09. I don't think that there's really any in between here at this one.
I think it'll be better than Matt and Jeff because the Matt and Jeff storyline was kind of rushed and not great to begin with. And they even tried that way back in the day about those two feuding, and it just never really fit.
Yeah.
Like the Owen Brett thing made more sense. This makes more sense. But like Jimmy has done a really good job, I think, because he's shown his comedic side. And now he's showing this more serious side, and that's exciting, man. Like they might have another. And I don't think he's main event level, but he could hang around the mid card for a little while, and I wouldn't be mad at it. Like I'm way more excited than this than I was for like the Matt and Jeff one.
Yeah, I mean at this point, there's no reason to rush these guys back together. I mean they were a tag team for over 15 years. Like it's fine. They can breathe on different shows and let them cook. Right. I mean I think
wait for Survivor Series.
Yeah, be fine.
For the for the Bloodline Civil War, please.
I want that
Please.
so badly. We'll see. I mean, I feel lucky.
I know. I'm man. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. We also got AJ Styles and LA Knight announced. Your thoughts on that? Because I have seen some backlash online.
Everybody wants to see LA Knight win a championship. They wanted the Logan Paul match. I understand that. This is a much larger opportunity. AJ Styles, especially AJ Styles at WrestleMania, that's a match that you should want, that everybody should want. If you get a chance to work AJ at WrestleMania because of how good he is, I think that's a much more intriguing match. LA Knight will win championships in WWE when, I don't know, but it'll happen, So this one-on-one program seems fun. I mean, AJ Styles flew all the way to Australia just to go blast him with a steel chair elimination chamber. That's a fun way to kick off a program. This is going to get physical. This is going to get intense. LA Knight is going to do his work on the mic to make this feud and this match mean something, and the match itself is going to be great. LA Knight's not necessarily a technical master. Let's say. Over. Yeah, exactly. And AJ Styles will get that great match out of him. So this is fine. I have no problem with this match in Mania.
Yeah, I mean the same people bitching online, going, LA Knight should be doing this, would be just as upset if AJ Styles wasn't on the card. Like, hey, They got AJ Styles back on the card, where he feels like he's something again after how many years of not doing anything.
Yeah.
When was the last time AJ Styles was in a relevant WrestleMania match? What did he do last year? Do you even remember?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Like, I actually don't remember what he did.
Yeah.
If he did anything. And then the year before it was with Omos, wasn't he?
Yes, tag team titles.
Yeah, like that's was he hurt? He was hurt last year. That's what it was. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
Did he break his ankle?
Oh, yeah. You're right.
So,
this is perfectly fine.
Like, I'm okay with this. He's on the card in a singles match, in a marquee match. Like, I'm just, why are people upset? Like, I'm totally okay with this.
Yeah, this is. I mean,
whatever, man.
It's
negativity.
It's gonna be a great match, and these are people that you should want one-on-one opportunities for. Look, Paul, having his hands full with Orton and Kevin Owens. This is. I think that's great as well. I actually like the idea of that match better. Yeah.
I also enjoy that match. Like, that's going to be another really good match. You get Randy Orton and Kevin Owens on the card doing something relevant, which, again, all these matches so far have a story to them. Unlike previous WrestleManias where there's just matches thrown together, every match on this card so far feels important. And what more can we ask for right now? I don't understand how people can hate on this card right now, and we're not even done building it. Like, we may, hoping Asuka is okay, we may get a 6-woman tag match with, Naomi, Bianca, and maybe Jade Cargill going against that new Damage Control. Like, that is something good.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why people are so upset about everything. But I'll leave it alone. I know. Right. Inhale. What does Taco say? Inhale the taco positivity. Something.
Inhale tacos. Exhale negativity.
Yeah. Like, I'm excited for WrestleMania, and it's not that it's been a long time since I've said that, but like, I'm excited for every match on this card right now.
Yeah, because I mean the tail end of the previous regime, some of those matches were just were tough to get through, and I mean this is now
garbage.
This is again we're looking at a goated event coming, and everybody is busting their asses to make this what will be, again, the most successful show of all time. So I'm ready to see what happens. I mean, I'm even getting ready to make a brisket for this thing.
I know. I'm excited to eat it.
Right? But let's talk a little bit of AEW here.
I watched Collision.
I didn't, so fill me in. Tell me what happened.
Yeah, so we saw Shibata take on Bryan Danielson. That was, just so, yes, all hail the king. I agree.
Great.
It was so good. I love seeing Danielson just having these dream matches with these guys. It's fun. It's He's having fun. The matches have been really good. It's just good wrestling, and
Yeah.
that's what Danielson's very good at is wrestling. So it's cool to see that. I want to see these keep going on Collision. He seems to have one of these every week now. That is kind of it's not kind of, but it's making me want to tune in. So that's exciting. We also saw a little bit of the tag team tournament. We saw House of Black lose to the Infantry, which was interesting. Mark Briscoe interfered in the match, and then we saw Malachi kind of stare him down. So what does that lead to? We saw Trisha Dora unfortunately fall to Julia Hart. I know that one's after your heart. I know,
Love me
I
some
know,
Trisha Dora.
I know. I'm sorry. We saw Edge take Abyss's Janice. That was a segment. He debuted Spike, which we'll see where that goes, man. I that was
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it was a little hokey.
Yeah, that's
We'll
and
see where it is, because that's not like that weapon in a match. Like that's not like a viable weapon. Like
yeah,
it's a bat with nails out of it. Like they're not going to really use like it was if it was more like a barbed wire bat. At least that would kind of play story wise
sure.
with him, like taking it back to that WrestleMania match with Mick Foley. But the Spike thing was just kind of I
Yeah,
didn't love it.
yeah. I mean,
And then real quick before I'll cap it off. Kyle
sure.
O'Reilly and Brian Keith, really good match. It is so cool to see Kyle O'Reilly back in there. You could tell he is like excited to be back wrestling again when he
Yeah,
thought he probably wasn't going to ever do that. Really enjoyed that. Give me Danielson versus Kyle O'Reilly anytime you want, and I will take that. But yeah, like Collision was pretty solid. I don't know if anybody else watched, but I did, and it's a fun wrestling show. I haven't watched in a while. It was a really really fun wrestling show, and kind of a fun way to spend a Saturday night. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah. I mean, they're finally starting to feel like that 2021 AEW again. And for all the criticism they get about lack of storytelling, especially on Collision, Shibata Danielson, you're just getting great matches. Sometimes
Hmm.
that's okay. I mean, it's no different than anything that we would go see on an indie show. I mean, think about what we saw in Georgia. We didn't, not all of those matches had stories per se, but they were just great wrestling.
Yep. And sometimes that's okay, guys. It's okay to just watch great
Yeah,
wrestling.
yeah,
I'm not mad at it.
yeah.
What are your and this is kind of a larger point. Like what are your thoughts on the Adam Copeland run so far in AEW?
Uh, I mean, it's fine. Like it's. I guess I didn't really know what expectations I should have for this run. This is just he wanted to go out on his own terms. He wanted to do a little bit more than WWE was going to let him do on that on a new contract.
Hmm.
He just wants to have fun with his friends, which is perfectly fine. If that's what makes you happy, go for it. I think that this TNT title feud's getting a little long in the tooth. I think that there's been a little bit of I don't know. I feel like this could have been a year plus saga again, and we talked about how long they could have actually gone without putting their hands on each other, and they certainly could have gone longer than the 2 months I think it was that
Yeah.
they did. I think you had thrown out that they could have gotten through an entire year without putting hands on each other.
Oh yeah.
With the right build. Um, and we talked about this before we went live today. As far as whether Copeland will actually win the title, I think that he will on Wednesday. That's just me. Um, but it might be time to put a pin in this story for a while and let it breathe. Let Copeland go do something else. And I don't know. Kristen Cage is going to continue to be, just a menace, which is perfectly fine. I think now we need to see a little bit more about the, building this relationship between him and Nick Wayne. If he's playing the father figure, I'd like to see them, add some layers to that story.
Does this give you and then they're two totally completely different people. Um, does this give you pause on a Mercedes? On what like that ceiling is? Because when Edge came, it was really really exciting. Like
Yeah,
we both popped. It was
yeah,
insane, and it's been okay. Like it's been fine.
yeah,
I don't know if he's been kind of that mega star that they were hoping he would be.
yeah.
Do you think the same thing will happen with Mercedes, or do you think Mercedes will have more of a CM Punk effect?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be the latter. I mean, the reports are coming out that while we don't know any exact dollar figures, she might be the highest paid woman in the history of professional wrestling, and
Yeah,
that seems to have
good for her.
pissed some people off on the internet, and it shouldn't.
I'm not mad. I mean,
She
good for
yeah,
her. She
exactly.
she knew her value and she negotiated against both companies and she
Yeah,
did what she did. Like, how
yeah.
can I be mad at that?
Exactly, and she is seeing this as an opportunity to better women's wrestling as a whole. She's already been to WWE. She had done everything imaginable there outside of a handful of dream matches. Now that there's some new talent coming in, there really wasn't more for her to do, at least right now. So if she wants to go to AEW and basically put that women's division on her back with the likes of Tony Storm and Deonna Purrazzo, let her do it. It's I think that at this point in time, it's 2024. Some of the negative online discourse regarding a black woman in a very male dominated and predominantly white industry, she is opening doors for people, and a lot of people are not going to really realize the impact that she's having until she's hung it up for good. Um, Quite frankly, and especially when it comes to all this negativity, some of this shit just needs to stop. Okay, um,
Yeah, but
it's better. Yeah,
that's just the dark corners of the internet, and they're smart enough to ignore it. And I know
like yeah,
we get down rabbit holes, and we should ignore it as well. But it does irk everybody
yeah,
now that we're seeing it, as much as we're on social media now. But yeah, like
yeah,
I think she went to AEW to do something she has never done, and that's become the face of a division. Like, no
yeah.
matter how good she was in WWE, she was never the face. It
No,
was Charlotte, it
Charlotte or
was
Becky.
Becky, it was Bianca, and now it's
Yeah,
Rhea. Like, even if she had went back, she's not the face, and she
no,
wouldn't be the face of the division.
yeah,
Now she's the face of the division, and like you said, kind of carrying it on her back and try to, I don't want to say establish the division, but like bring it to new heights
yeah,
and bring it to where it needs to be. I mean,
yeah,
that was the first time in a while we'd saw women main event a Dynamite, and
yeah,
again, probably what I mean, it wasn't the hottest match in the world, but there is now potential, and that door is open for maybe a potentially down the line we see the women main event a
yeah,
pay per view. I mean, if they're going to do
yeah,
12 a year, you might as well.
yeah.
You got to get the story hot enough, and that's where I worry about that is can AEW heat up a story hot enough to justify making the women a main event, and
Yeah.
that's we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, with the investment that Tony Khan has made in Mercedes Moné, I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, and I don't know where Julia Hart is as far as the injury that she's trying to come back from, but I mean, Julia Hart, Mercedes Moné, especially with the progress that Julia has made over the last year or so,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a fun main event if you ask me. It's my personal opinion.
Yeah. I, I don't know. Like I would go more of like a Tony. Like I think for the main title. Like I don't think
Okay,
you want to have a mid card title be your main event. Especially when you have a Will Ospreay now, an
true.
Okada now, a Danielson, MJF's gonna come back, Swerve. Like you got a lot of hot, you know, commodities going right now,
Yeah,
and like in reality, if they do a Julia Hart Mercedes main event, aren't they just kind of like forcing it? Wouldn't you think?
I wouldn't
Because I
necessarily
don't,
say
I just don't know
forcing
if
it.
that
No.
story's there.
I mean, she came out to help Willow, and I mean that's the start of it. I think. I would imagine, and this is just my guess, is that her first TV match will probably involve Sky Blue. I mean,
Whenever that is.
yeah, she ran into that fist with full force there. I mean,
Yeah.
that was a fun one to watch.
Because I mean, nothing's advertised for her to wrestle, as far
Yeah,
as I
yeah,
know.
just talking right now. Yeah, um, but yeah, I mean, I have high hopes for Mercedes Moné, and especially given the
Oh, I do too.
investment that the company has made. This is their chance. They feel to have a crossover star, much like Swerve, in their ranks that will bring eyes to the product. I mean, there's one thing, especially having Jennifer Pepperman in the writers' room now. She has that experience of okay, here's what we can do for this crossover star. She was in The Mandalorian. She's Snoop's cousin. She's doing all of these cool things, going to anime awards, and like you just see her making boss moves that that's going to appeal to people, and there's no reason you can't build a kind of a stable, for lack of a better word, of crossover stars, Swerve and Mercedes at the leading the charge.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not mad at it. It's
Yeah.
AEW's on fire right now. I'm not gonna lie to you, and the fact that AEW is on fire and we're going into one of the biggest, probably best WrestleMania cards we've ever seen. It's a really fun time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, yeah. Before we go, a couple more topics we wanted to talk about. GCW made the
Yeah.
announcement that WWE will be joining Bloodsport over WrestleMania week. Shayna Baszler has already been advertised to compete. A forbidden door that I didn't know that I wanted is now open, and it's wild, dude. What do you think of this?
Please let Charlie Dempsey get on that card.
That'd be so much fun. Yeah.
Please let Charlie Dempsey get on that card.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, dude, this is massive. I mean, this is something that I don't think that anybody would have ever expected to see is WWE talent working an indie show. And there's, Mox is also likely going to be on this one too. So this is just the hits keep coming in the world of wrestling, and this is the kind of stuff we want right now. This business is hotter than it has been in a very long time, and I love that everybody's taking advantage of this new corporate WWE.
It's good. It's a good thing. Like you said, that forbidden door is open. They're working with other companies. Why is that a bad thing? Triple H said he has always been open to it. If you remember in his time in NXT, it was Evolve, right? He did some stuff with Evolve. I think he did some stuff with Progress. Like
Yep.
he did some things, and it was beneficial for everybody. Which, what is Shayna Baszler doing right now that is captivating everybody?
Yeah.
Nothing.
So, yeah, exactly. And this would be the perfect way to start, to jumpstart that with her again. Because, I mean, after she lost to Becky at WrestleMania, it was downhill from there. The feud with Ronda last year did
Sucked.
nothing for her. But, this is the perfect way to jumpstart her again. I think, I forget what account it was that I saw on Twitter, but somebody put out there that she would love to work Minoru Suzuki. How awesome would that match be?
That'd be crazy. I don't know if WWE will go that far quite yet, but let's.
Probably not.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. That would be crazy.
Also, speaking of GCW, Mr. OTM has texted us in the group chat that GCW will be returning to Chicago and Columbus during Memorial Day weekend. It suggested a Junkies road trip. I know that you have to figure out if you're going to do anything for the holiday, but GCW.
You put me on the spot live on air. Thank you for that. That's not going to get me in trouble. But yeah,
you didn't say yes, so it's fine.
I didn't say yes yet. We'll see. We'll see what the ball and chain says. We do have grandparents to spend time with. None of the other people in the group text have freaking kids, so I don't want to hear
This
it.
is also true.
I have other obligations, you wrestling hooligans. But yeah, I'd love to go. One more thing before we leave. I did see a lot of discourse online, and I know I don't want to end it negatively, about Bray Wyatt not going in the Hall of Fame. It was announced today that he's getting a documentary on Peacock.
Yes.
And my question for everybody, and you as well, is would you want to see Bray Wyatt in this class or next year when he can, headline his class? I'm sorry, Kyle. I didn't mean to open a wound. But yeah.
Yeah, headliner, hands down. This is about Philadelphia, ECW, Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
I think that this is the appropriate time for that. I mean, we don't know when they're going to be back in Philly again, so I see no reason that they need to add him this year. That's certainly not to say that he doesn't deserve the Hall of Fame,
he does.
Or anything like that. But I do think that this is a nice trade-off. I think, especially in the week leading up to WrestleMania. They have plenty of time to honor Bray Wyatt, and we know that they will. We also have to think about his family as well. If they are emotionally ready to be present for something like that. I mean it's been less than a year, so it cannot be easy right now.
And that was my point. Like, we don't know how they're grieving. Are they ready for that? Like, maybe this documentary is kind of that first step into that process of doing that and having them be on camera again. But yeah, like that was my point going into it in there. Like, let's not force it. Like, if they're not comfortable with it, he's gonna go in the Hall of Fame. Like, it's gonna happen. Just like, let's let the family figure out when they want to do it. Like, his dad's going in this year. That's cool.
Yeah.
The guy that literally he's named after in Wyndham, Barry Windham's going in, so that's a fun little nod, and I'm sure they'll talk about it a little bit. But let's let them decide when he can go. Like, just because you're online and you love Bray Wyatt, like we all did, you don't get to decide that when he gets to go. Like, you just that's up to JoJo. That's up to the rest of the family to go.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're ready to do that, because that's going to be emotional as hell. I mean, that's going to be one of those moments in wrestling where it's just like, oh man, this is rough. You know, it like that Brody Lee episode of AEW, like that was bad. Like, but it was good, but it was like bad. Like, man, that was crazy.
That really hurt. Yeah.
I saw that online. I wanted to touch on it and go, hey, like let's let them figure out what they want to do. So.
Yeah, no,
don't want to end on a down note, but I did. So that's a Monday.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Real quick, Monday Night Raw at the PNC Arena in Raleigh, North Carolina. Cody will be clapping back at the People's Champion, The Rock. He did put a scarf on Pharaoh and put a picture on social media that says "Rock is a cat." We know what he meant there, but
okay. Yeah.
We've got a contract signing between Sami Zayn and Gunther, and then Becky Lynch, Nia Jax,
that'll go
last
well.
woman standing. Yeah. Which one?
Contract signings always go well.
Yeah. Let's see. We've also got Awesome Truth taking on Indus Sher.
Let's go, Veer. Let's go, Veer. Sorry.
No, it's fine.
He's gonna be on Mania. Damn it.
No, it's not.
This might be the closest he ever gets.
Yeah. DIY and Creed Brothers. DIY's got to win this one. Creed Brothers have plenty of time to win tag team titles, have WrestleMania opportunities. And then New Day taking on Alpha Academy. I think New Day gets the win here.
If it is Tozawa, yes.
Okay.
If it's not, I will say Chad Gable and Otis win.
Okay. I like it. Anything else for the good of the order?
I don't think so. Is that a Star Wars reference?
I don't know. I had a professor in law school that said it a lot.
I think it's a Star Wars reference. Good for you. Good for you, sir. Yeah, I gotta go feed my kids before our interview. But
yep. So thank you guys so much for checking out this episode of the Wrestling Junkies podcast. Make sure to hit that QR code in the top left corner. Like, share, subscribe. Help us to, we're trying to get to 1,000 followers or subscribers on our YouTube channel.
For now, Kyle. Card subject to change. Sorry.
Way done.
I'm answering the chat.
And chat.
Give it up. It's not happening.
There's already one triple threat match.
It's not happening.
Okay. Never know.
It's not happening.
Yeah. Anyway, that'll do it for us today. Tully and Johnny Van Frank will be back tomorrow. We got some great interviews coming up this week. And Kyle, we're marks. We all are. It is what it is. We're proud, Mark. Also, we will be on the On the Mark podcast this Thursday night, as well as Mr. OTM spends a few days out in Vegas, come back in one piece. And I think that's all we got for today. Make sure to hit that QR, buy some merch, support our store. And if you need a hoodie, get a hood. If you need a mug, get a mug. New designs are coming in the next couple of weeks as well. Can't wait for you guys to check these out. For the podcast, I'm Mr. Cincinnati. This has been the Wrestling Junkies podcast. We'll talk to you guys soon.